Howdy doody do, motherfucker. How are you? Um, it's like 7. No, it's probably like 8 o'clock now. 8:15 ish in the morning. I was supposed to go to work today. But tomorrow's my brother's birthday, and I was just up all night. I was up all night. Anyways, I'm gonna record a couple videos, pump them out today. So, this is video number 1. I know that it's gonna sound crazy, and I know that most people or most men, I'm gonna say men. No, actually, this is women too. People who are often like super oorah and ready to fight and very vocal about it or always visualizing it. The most violent people are typically the most brutalized. The most violent people are typically the most paranoid. I mean, there's some instances where you just see a really high testosterone dude just fucking kicking ass. I know this one dude named Chris. I don't know. I think my brother was one of those dudes. It's sometimes, there's just a few instances where that shit just happens. But for the most part, it's just a situation where you've been hurt before and you're afraid of being hurt again. So you've decided that I'm going to have this shield up. Like if you're always visualizing getting into a fight, oh yeah, I'm like do a front flip over him and like strangle him and tie his shoelaces together and then push him. You know what I'm saying? Like if you always visualizing things of that nature, you aren't a badass in your head. You're just very fucking anxious of being hit. You're very anxious of somebody hurting you. And I'm guilty of this as well, and that's why I'm speaking on it. Realizing that I've had a few instances where I've basically seen how dangerous I am, so that kind of piped down a little bit. I do still have anxiety about a lot of stuff in that field. I'd still sometimes, if I walk into a room, I don't think anybody's gonna assault me or anything, but I still do often think about, like, particularly in my city, like the little city I live in, or it's not even little, it's a town right outside of Austin. I often catch myself thinking about how some of the people I grew up with, like if they saw me, would we have beef? I will say after the protest and during the protest, it was, you know what I'm saying, this is Texas, a lot of political differences. I disliked a lot of people. I guess it's moved away from combat and necessarily attacking other people. Like, I don't visualize that in my head as much. I visualize like a verbal onslaught. So like I'm walking in and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing with your life?" And the crazy thing is, I just experienced that. I went and got some tacos. I should have made them at home, but they were actually pretty good. There's some tacos that they were solid. I went in there and gas station. It's crazy. It's like I think it's like a New York bodega. You know how you can go in there and it doesn't look great, but it's pretty good. It's one of those gas station places that has really good shit. So I walk in there and I see one of my old teachers, and I'm like, well, not one of my old teachers, one of the old administrators. I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" She's like, "Ah, good. How about you?" So what's been going on? What you been up to? And I was just really vague. She knows about the case because I helped her daughter out before I caught my case. They were basically saying her daughter was racist, and I was like, no, she's not. She's a part of my group. Okay, I don't care what she did when she was like fucking 14 or 15. She's about to go to the protest with us. Like, she's trying to fix some shit. Okay, she has a colorful background, which is fucking perfect, because now she can communicate with people with other colorful backgrounds, or even still communicate with colorful people. Whenever I say colorful people, I mean just people that have a bunch of other shit going on. And, you know, she can communicate with them, like, because she's been there and she's not there anymore. So, boom, she can, you know what I'm saying, get it figured out. We can get these people to work with us, and boom, now we got more numbers, and we can really be a community. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever the fuck you think. So I'm like, yeah, I just been through a lot. Like, it's been a crazy last 2 years. And she was like, yeah, life can be crazy. And it was almost more so like, you know, whenever somebody's looking at you kind of like snarky, like, huh, this is what you're doing? And that was one of my biggest fears. Like, I just got to the point where I could come outside again. Well, not just got to this point, but I was to the point where I didn't like going outside because I was afraid I'd see somebody that I knew. Relatively small town. Like, you know, like I said, it's Texas. We have pretty much rural, suburban. Like, if I drive 5 minutes that way, it's just gonna be fucking fields. If I drive 5 minutes that way, it's gonna be like a town center, like a basically a shopping mall, just spread out over the course, like not 5 miles, like 2-3 miles. That's like our mall. You go there, the gyms are over there. Like, everything is in that general vicinity. All the restaurants, pretty much everything. And then you have Walmart. Like, everything is in one spot. And then it's rural, suburban, rural, suburban. And then 5 minutes after that, you touching city. So everybody goes to the same spots. I was so nervous about going to these spots. Because I like I said, I was the athlete, and I assumed people would look at me weird. But now, whenever people look at me weird, like whenever I see them, they're like, "What are you doing? Like, what's going on with you in life? You look scruffy. Look at your hair. You look scruffy. You're still here. You know what I'm saying?" And now, you know what I'm saying, that was kind of the look she was giving me, and like the questioning she was going down. It didn't really bother me as badly, like, as I thought it would have. So it helped me, you know what I'm saying? I expected it to be a lot worse. I definitely think if it was another teacher that I actually had the pleasure of sitting in their classroom, they would understand, like, oh shit, okay, Gerald is pretty fucking different. He's gonna figure something out. But that always bugged me. I was like, oh man, I hope people aren't looking at me and like talking shit and, you know, judging me. That was my fear. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna run into these people and have to cuss them the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand that is anxiety. The same way I saw those conflicts in my head and cussed those people out is the same way a lot of you guys see conflicts in your head. It maybe a lot of times they're physical, a lot of times. Realize, A, it probably wouldn't be that bad. B, don't be as afraid, because you're fucking dangerous. You're a dangerous person. Like, we're dangerous ass animals. As long as you fucking relax, you're going to be able to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? The relaxed person generally wins the fight. But yeah, that is something I have noticed through meditation, mindfulness, and mindfulness is basically being able to step away from your thoughts and like realize they're not you. Like, separating the emotion from the thoughts. It's like some Inception shit. You fall out of the emotion, or you fall out of the thought, you look at it, and you're like, huh, that logically doesn't make any sense. Like, you've come out of that maze, and now you can see that the build of it. But whenever you're in it, it's very confusing. So whenever you learn how to separate from from thoughts in general, you can now navigate that thought. But yeah, you're dangerous as fuck. If you don't think you're dangerous, I'd recommend getting into a martial arts class, which I am doing. this is a bit personal. I was, abused as a kid, and I was also bullied as a kid. Not as it wasn't as physical, the bullying. It did get physical a lot of times. However, most of it came from home. So I'm not really comfortable expressing the anger or expressing the discomfort I have about certain situations. So if somebody was doing something I didn't necessarily like, typically I don't give a fuck. Like, typically I'm in my own world. Like, as an artist, I just be phew. But whenever something does bother me, it's like it takes a while for me to be like, hey, that's bothering me, even though it's not a big deal. I've gotten to the point where I can do it, and then I fell off of it. Like, after I lost my brother, I was very just like, I deserve my fucking space. And I deserve my space still. Everybody deserves their space. I've even had like real masculine dudes. You know what I'm saying? These are like older dudes. Typically, the people that I've met who have the most wisdom about life are people who got in trouble whenever they were like around my age. And then they got out of trouble. Like, they stayed out of it and then fixed their lives to an extent. Because once you're in the system, it's pretty fucking hard. And they're like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Don't do this shit. But anyways, those particular men, the justice system in Texas is really bad. It's fucking modern day slavery. For real, look into it. It's modern day slavery. House rules, everything goes. Motherfuckers dying, people hanging themselves. Really fucked up shit. Yeah, they survived that, which is insane. I think I'm gonna do a video about that too. They survived that, came out of it, not like, fucked up, but not angry at the world. So these people, they're very straightforward typically. I've had some ones that are just like, you're not socially it. You said that shit and it pissed me off. And I've had some people say some very direct shit, and I thought that was my phone ringing. I had this dude tell me, I was first few minutes of me meeting him, we're picking up trash on the side of the road, and he was like, hey, you going slow as shit, man. I need you to pick it up. And I just said, okay. Like, okay. He told me instead of him silently doing it, like silently judging me, he told me, I picked it up. He gave me some strategies, showed me how to do it. Boom, bop, pow. We on the road. We got something going. I'm not sure if the situation is everybody was abused out of that. Like, you weren't allowed to really express your discomfort. I know that's one of the reasons in Texas, like, we still have that kind of, respect your elders and you'll get a spanking and regardless if I'm right or wrong or whatever. If I've wronged you as an adult, you don't have the right, So that kind of, that hits people, and they grow up and they're not really comfortable, standing on their own. They're not comfortable with conflict, even if it's very, 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 very small conflict. Like I said, with me, my safety, like, I know I can fight. Like, that's not like, oh yeah, I can fight. This is why that really doesn't bother me. However, what does bother me is I'm so uncomfortable giving the cues and giving the hints and the communication of stop. It really causes more conflict than it doesn't, because I don't say like, oh, stop that shit, I don't like it, please. No, don't do that. It ends right there. But if you don't and you let it go and you just like get more frustrated and irritated and, now it blows up and now it might get physical, which I am not afraid of. Speaking of this, I know I spoke about the story time videos and putting a dude in the hospital after he assaulted me, but I honestly don't want to be I don't want to be seen that way, so I'm probably not going to release those videos. I might speak on them later on down in the channel, but nah, I don't want to do that right now. But yeah, that conflict resolution wasn't there. I was always taught to be like super nice and cordial and respectful to everybody, which is a good trait to have. Like they call me the polite gangster. That's what like my thugged out family members call me, like the polite gangster. I do check people in a very polite way. Like, why would you do that? Like, don't do that. Like, that was very wrong of you. I will step up and check somebody for somebody else before I do it for myself, which is so odd to me. It is so odd to me. I need to figure out what that is through more meditation and introspection. But I will get on somebody's ass. Like, I'm more protective of my people than I am protective of myself, which needs to change. Yes, be protective of them, but also be more protective of myself. I guess it's because that thought cloud, like I told you, whenever you're in the cloud, you know what I'm saying, you can't really see how to get out of it, but whenever you're out of it, you can identify it. Whenever it's going on with me, I'm just like, is this disrespect? You know, I'm like, socially I'm there, but I'm not there sometimes. I'm like, is this disrespect? Is he joking? Is this like a situation that I'm rightfully supposed to cuss him out in? Because I do feel bad sometimes. Like when I was figuring it out, I like, hey, motherfucker, don't play with me like that. Don't, like, I don't know if I gave you the wrong energy to make you think that I was the person to do that to, but I'm not, you know? It's just that anxiety can ruin a lot of stuff. That anxiety actually, like I said, causes more conflicts because you're like, oh, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of them. Your head is already there, but this person is doing something to accidentally piss you off. You understand? Like, and that irritation, that aggression that you're giving off is picked up on them, by them, like through body language, through cues. We're still animals, you know what I'm saying? It's all picked up. So it just ruins a lot of stuff. Like, you'll be talking to somebody and they're like all nervous, and now that I think about it, that might be the reason people are very uncomfortable when people don't look them in the eyes, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Are you doing something behind my back? You know what I'm saying? Do you low-key hate me? I can see why people would say that now. I'm gonna do a video on that too. All right, guys, peace out. See y'all later. Yeah, that anxiety ain't shit. You ain't tough. It's anxiety. I don't know what I'm gonna name this video. I'll figure it out.